Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Wednesday, January the 10th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses each day. Our hypotheses are our trade plans. We have two main hypotheses based on what the market auction should look like. Determining who is in control. And we have two expanded hypotheses for price discovery and range expansion. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. It's not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So, taking a look at yesterday. Yesterday, our main hypothesis was a open auction, out of range, a push up to take out the overnight high. We did that. We were looking for responsive sellers down into the upper distribution from the prior day, possibly even down into the LVN of the double distribution. Then we're looking for a basing pattern and just to start to grind back up. Hypo 2 was a open auction, a move down to test the range high and somewhere between the value area high and the LVN. We were looking for buyers to step in and rotate us up into towards that 27.59 and a quarter. That's basically what we got. Didn't quite. They came in and they tried to get inside of the prior day twice. They rejected it. They did put in a triple bottom. They had a double bottom on the IB before they actually put the double top, and then the triple top, I should say, up here. And then they broke the IB by one tick, and it looked like it was going to come down and break to the low side, put in that triple bottom, and then it bounced. That was an interesting move. And then we got up into the 58.59 area and basically just went sideways. And then, of course, you had profit selling. And it looked like, we were going to actually go neutral into the close. And I was actually looking for that. I shorted up here on the break below the LVN and the VWAP. And, came down and again, didn't get into the prior day and closed at the VPOC. Now, couple things. This is the first time we've actually seen the VPOC shift down into the close. So that was beginning to say that we're actually seeing some responsive selling coming in and possibly seeing somewhat of a top. What we have right now is a very interesting scenario because this pattern could turn out to be an abandoned baby, and there's a lot of repair work that needs to be done below. An abandoned baby pattern happens when you get a very strong move up. You get a blow off top with a doji. This isn't quite the doji with the gap, and then the next candle is a gap down and is usually a red candle. That hasn't formed yet. So this isn't, you need the three candlesticks to form for the pattern to set up. But this is a very reliable pattern for a trend change. And so we'll be watching today to see where we are. We'll talk about this a little bit more in just a minute. Let's just step back, take a look at the news. We did have export pricing and import pricing, and they came out worse than expected. Building permits were way down in Canada. We've got Chicago Fed Evans speaking coming up in 7 minutes. Then we've got at 10 o'clock, we've got wholesale inventories. And the big news today, of course, is going to be the crude, and then the 10-year note auction, and then we've got Bullard speaking. So 1 o'clock, 1:30, we have news, and then 10:30. Not much else on the calendar today. Taking a look at the macro to micro, I always start my day the same way. I start with a simple candlestick chart on my TOS paper money. I like the drawing tools on it. I'm looking for patterns. I'm watching the 9 EMA, that's this one right here, and the 20 SMA. I know I've got a couple extra moving averages. I'm testing out Pearson's PPS system for a friend of mine. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for slope and separation, strength of the trend at each time frame, and then looking for any type of candlestick pattern or chart pattern that I can recognize, which is much easier to do when you have a very simplistic chart. The monthly, very strong. The trend doesn't even get challenged until we get to the 25.60 area. The key is that we're trading back near the upper line of the upward sloping fork that we've been watching, and that's going to be key for us today. Is that 27.30 area? Whether or not we hold that or whether we break inside. If we break inside, then we'd be looking for the move down towards the center line and a bigger retrace and a move back to repair the auction that we've had. We've been one time framing up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days or 6 months of one time framing up. I'm sorry, 13 months of one time framing up. This is the monthly. On the weekly, we had one time framing up for 5-6 weeks. Then we broke it last week or 2 weeks ago, and then we popped up again and again. We're above the upper line. We're going to be watching this 27.30, but this could be the blow off top that we're looking for if this abandoned baby shows up. Going to the daily, of course, on a full session chart, you're not going to see an abandoned baby because of the fact that it's basically you only have a 1 hour gap between trading. But you do have a possible blow off top here with the strong move up, and coming back down to test the 9 EMA will bring us back down to test this upward line of the upward sloping fork. But the trend on the weekly is still intact. It doesn't get challenged until we get below that 27.25 area. Going to the hourly, 4 hour intraday, you can see that we did have a bearish engulfing on the final 4 hours of yesterday's range, and then we had the continuation, and we actually had a move down to the 37.25, and we're going to gap down from yesterday's RTH session. And we have broken below the 9, and right now we're below the 20. So this is showing possibility of a trend change, and it's going to be interesting to see how we close this candle above or below the 20 to see if we get continuation back towards the upper line of the upward sloping fork. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that we've got good slope, good separation, but we did put in a Mr. Sneaky here, and we're trying to get back above the 9 right now. And if we can hold the 9, then I'm looking for a move back up into that 46. Our over-under line today is going to be 44. That is the LVN from the overnight session. One of them. There's one at 44. There's one at 48. We do have naked cross up here on the 30-minute, up at 53. So if we can get back inside of yesterday's range, that's going to be the primary target up here. Does this mean, I'm reading Twitter, and it's all over Twitter, everybody's calling the top, and, this is going to be a huge, move down. Don't get that in your mind, because we're going to have repair work above. In fact, we've got, naked crosses and naked VPOCs above us. So, this is not a downtrend until we get confirmation on the daily and the weekly, as a trend change. But right now, it's looking like we're going to get some selling. So we're going to be looking to sell rallies today. Going to the 5-minute, here's where the story changes, and you can see we're starting to get an upward trend. We're getting some slope and separation. We've got this naked cross up here at the 46.75. We've got a naked VPOC up there as well. I forget what exactly it is, but it's 46 something. So watch your trends here on the 5-minute, and if we get above that 44, then you got to start thinking that they're going to do some repair work and get some responsive buying up into this distribution area up here in the 48. So let's look at that. When you take a look at the Globex overnight, we have a nice big Globex down. We talked about the activity in the Globex session and whether or not we're going into price discovery. It looks like we're going into price discovery to the downside, but you can see that the OTF, the black outlines down here are the 20-period average volume per candle, and that's per candle. So this time candle right here, 20 periods back, not just 20 candles back, and it's showing when the OTF is active. And when the OTF is active, you're getting volume higher than normal. And you can see that the overnight session has had very heavy volume. We've had a stair stepping down. We've got a triple distribution. The midpoint and the LVN and the VWAP is up here at the 44.50. This is going to be our over-under line up here. And then if we get above that, the immediate target is going to be that 46.75. Inventory is pretty much 100% net short in time and volume. So therefore, we should see some adjustments. But the good thing about an abandoned baby is this is what gets the bulls. This is a bearish abandoned baby. The bullish abandoned baby is the opposite, with a abandoned candle to the downside. But this is buyers getting trapped, and we should see some responsive buying into the open, but we're going to be looking for any failures. And you can see that we had 2 days of balance before the this candle. So I'm really looking for us to chop inside of these two levels today, between the 46 and the 41. If we don't hold the 41, then there's not much to hold us up, and we're likely to take a trip through this 2-day value area down into this 33, 34 area, and we've got some key targets down there. This is still very thin. Okay, so we could get a day of balance and stalling to create value somewhere. And the two heaviest high volume nodes are at the 46 and at the 41. Remember that our open of the week also is 41.75, so they're going to be fighting this weekly open to try to keep us in a positive week. Below the 41, things get pretty thin, and there's not much price acceptance in this area, so we could travel through. And 41 is what I'm looking for to break, to give us an indication that we could get a strong trend day down, okay, and get a third day of balance, and possibly even come all the way down into the 20, 28, 29 area, 30 area. If you look at it on a relative volume chart, there's that naked VPOC up here at the 46.50. We've got the naked close from Monday at the 47.25, and the naked VPOC above at 52.50 with that naked cross on the 9 and the 20 on the 30 minute up at the 53. So we are going to get a gap down, but you can see all the repair that we've got down here. We've got the naked VPOC at 34. We've got the naked VPOC at 25.50 and the naked close at 24. We've got two gaps down here. So there's a lot of repair work to do. 37 is going to be very important because it's our overnight low. Our overnight low is 37.25, and it's also the low of the Monday RTH session. You can see that we have the double distribution from Monday with the LVN at 44. We've got the Globex LVN at 44. That's why it's going to be our over underline. Above it, we can look for the possibility of a half back, half gap fill, and a move up to test the gap from below and take out this naked VPOC and naked close, which is in this distribution. And then above the middle distribution overnight, then we're getting into yesterday's range and likely to get the move up into the middle of the lower distribution and where we closed and where our VPOC is. So very clear levels to pay attention to today. We haven't had a lot to go on because we've been making new all-time highs, making new all-time highs, making new all-time highs. So there was nothing to guide us. Now we have some structure, okay, to lean against, and we can see where there's going to be some clear movement from areas of price rejection to areas of price acceptance. So taking our overnight levels, our overnight low is down at the 37.25. Our overnight high is up at 52. Just below our VPOC. Our 20 period average true range, full session 20 period average true range is running at 16.53. So off of a low overnight of 37.25, our daily upside ATR target takes us back up to a VWAP and a midpoint and the LVN of the upper distribution. Lower distribution from yesterday's RTH session. The daily downside ATR is down here off of the high of 52, less the full session 20 period daily average range. 16.53.50 is our downside daily ATR. So our overnight high, overnight low is there. Right now we're trading at 43. We do have lots of time left, so I'm going to approximate it. Let's say we opened right here at the 43.75, plus the close from yesterday of 52.50. Our half gap fill is 48. So a test of the range low down here, and a takeout of that naked VPOC and naked close. So this is right now, it's only an approximate. I'll adjust it on the open. So in terms of levels, it's pretty straightforward. Over underline is going to be the LVN from Monday, the LVN from last night with the VWAP and the midpoint right there, and that's basically 44.25, 44.50. We've got the half gap fill and these targets just below as our main targets above. So if we get above and hold this 44 area, we're looking for a push up into the 46 to 48 area. And then anything inside of the value from yesterday above the 48.50, then we're looking for the continuation back up to repair and up to that naked cross and naked VPOC and the gap fill up here. Not expecting much more than coming up to this 53. Below us, we've got the 42, which is our Globex VPOC, and our week open. So we've got our week open at 41.75 and our 42 overnight VPOC. And then below that, we've got the range low from Monday and the 37 and a quarter bottom. And inside of this, between the main target, is going to be where that VPOC was at 40.50 before it shifted up. And then anything below the 37, we're looking then for expansion and the possibility of coming down here to the 34 and possibly down into the 27, because we get into this distribution, which is pretty blunt. This profile down here, if I bring this to the front, you can see that this area from 34 all the way down to the 27 is really quite blunt, and we could move through here pretty quick because there's not much to hold us up until we get down to that 25.75 and back down to this VPOC, and that would be a take back of 4 days, yesterday, Monday, Friday, and Thursday. So in terms of hypotheses, I'm looking for an open auction out of range. I'm looking for how they handle this 44 area. If they get above the 44 area, I'm looking for them to push up towards the half gap fill and the range low. And I'm looking for sellers to step in here and then move us down into the 41 and basically chop inside of the Monday and probably hit both distribution points, the HVN of the lower distribution and HVN of the upper distribution, and basically chopping and going sideways. So that is hypo 1, and create some balance and likely going to close somewhere around the 41 and a quarter. Hypo 2 is a open auction out of range, a move down into the 40.75 and somewhere between 40.75 and 37. I'm looking for them to base, and I'm looking for them to come up and chop between 41 and 46 with maybe a late day probe up into the 52 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is an open rejection reverse, a push up into the 46 area, fail, and then rotate down, come down, chop in the 40 area, push through, and then fail down at 37 and push down into somewhere down here between the 34 and the 25 and get a big red candle down. Hopefully leaving a gap still and verifying this as a abandoned baby top. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is a take back day, a open auction out of range, fail to take out the overnight low, move up into the 48, chop around here, and then come up into the 52 and chop with a late day probe up into the 56, but closing somewhere in around the 50 to 53 area, and possibly even making a new all-time high. But I think that that's the less likelihood based on the context that we're looking at. I know I covered a lot today, but I want you to understand the levels. We do have to put the rest of our levels in, and targets. They're pretty simple. This is the great thing is there's lots of structure here so that we know, watching the LVNs, the price rejection areas for rotations into the HVNs, and with these double distribution days, there's lots of it. So that's actually good for us. Taking a look at gold, again, gold continues to balance out. We did get a move down to that. We did not hold that 13 area yesterday. We said the target would be the 1308.90, 1309. We came right down to it to the tick, found our late buyers and rotated back up and now we're chopping back up inside of this distribution, inside of the what is it? 7-day microcomposite with the value area at 2260. The value area low has shifted up to 14, but the numbers don't change. 23 and 13 in it. Look for chop above or below those two levels. Look for continuation and price discovery down or price discovery up, depending on which way they break. Otherwise, lots more of $5 and $6 rotations, around this 15 to 22 range. But with the equities looking weaker, likely going to see the balance break out and move up rather than down in gold. Okay, that's going to complete our pre-market session. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.